Someone else that a lot of folks want to see in that race was our next guest, Paul Ryan. He previously said, nope, not going to do it. It's an important task as the chairman of the House Budget Committee in the U.S. House. We're going to chat with him here in just a little bit about a whole host of items, including the presidential race. And my favorite, soaring rhetoric from the president. No, I get it. People aren't better off than they were 4 years ago. Yeah. Well, thank you for inspiring us with that wonderful rhetoric, that wonderful, soaring, inspirational tone there, Mr. President. Appreciate that very much. By the way, pollster Scott Rasmussen tomorrow, chair of the House Armed Services Committee, warning about too many defense cuts in plans to reduce the deficit. 40 Days for Life update Thursday. Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels, another guy a lot of folks want to see in that presidential race, on his book, Keeping the Republic, Saving America by Trusting Americans. He's going to join us on Friday. Right now, without any further ado, the budget boss of the House, our friend, Congressman Paul Ryan. Mr. Chairman, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Scott? How you doing?
Nice to have you back on the program. I just mentioned a news report suggesting Chris Christie will not run.
Yeah,
we had the Paul Ryan sweepstakes here for a while about you running. Your reaction to another saying, "Not me, thanks."
You know, it doesn't surprise me. I talked to Chris a bit over the summer when I was, when people were asking me to look at it, and the execution of putting an organization together at such short notice is pretty darn daunting. And number one, number two, I just didn't think he was going to do it anyway, just for the reasons he cites. So it doesn't surprise me that he's not going to get in the race.
Should we be happy with the field we have?
Sure. Look, the way I look at it is these candidates are going to improve if you're not satisfied with who they are. I also think that we're doing a pretty good job here in the House of setting the bar on what we need to do to save this country. Look, I was working on the gym with Rick Berg this morning, talking about just this very topic. By the way, as a former North Dakota duck and goose hunter, it sounds like you got a lot of water up there, which is a good thing, but I hear you got some tough flooding issues up there.
We do.
So, sorry to hear about that, but what I also heard from
messing up the pheasant population, too, by the way.
Yeah, that's right, you do. Well, we have pretty good pheasant population in Wisconsin, but your incomes are up 17% in North Dakota. Your unemployment rate's at 3.5% because you actually have an energy policy up there. We could learn from that in this country. And those are the kinds of ideas that we're taking to America. Let's have an energy program that actually is domestic. Let's pay off our debt. Let's grow our economy. Let's reform our tax system. Let's repeal Obamacare and replace it with patient-centered health care. These are ideas that we're pushing out of here in the House. Obviously, they're not going anywhere in Harry Reid's Senate or getting even on Barack Obama's desk. But it's not as if, all hope must rest on whoever the nominee is going to be. It means we've got to send people like Rick Berg to Congress. It means we've got to send, more conservatives to the Senate so that we can actually fix this country's problems. And I see a good team being assembled, and someone from this crowded field in running for president will be the top of a really, really good team if we stick to our principles and apply solutions to this country's problems. And that's what we're trying to do.
You mentioned the energy boom in North Dakota, prime example, and what's the White House trying to do, and every Democrat there? Further tax it, further regulate it, and now the Justice Department is involved suing oil companies over 28 dead birds, for crying out loud.
Is that true?
It is.
What kind of birds are these they're talking about?
Every kind of bird.
The bag limit on snow geese up there is still 10, isn't it? Jeez. There are amazing to me.
3 companies that are being prosecuted over one dead bird found on the sites.
Yeah, that's criminal court, right?
Continental and 2
I read
others.
about that in the Wall Street Journal this weekend. Yeah, amazing.
We tipped off Steve Moore to that story, and he's done a great job covering it in the Wall Street Journal and others as well. But since when are dead birds criminal? But that therein lies the difference, doesn't it? That's the campaign. And by the way, the president said yesterday in the interview with George Stephanopoulos, America's not better off today than it's 4 years ago. So he's even admitting it. We've got a clear contrast here.
We have a clear contrast. It couldn't be any more clear. And look, we've been moving ideas out of here. We're stacking bills up in the Senate like cordwood, whether it's energy legislation, tax legislation, paying off the debt and balancing the budget, job legislation, which is get the government out of the way, reduce the uncertainty, allow the private sector to grow, and create jobs in this country and make us more competitive. And we have 2 big obstacles. It's called the United States Senate and the White House, and we can fix that in 2012, and that's what we got to do.
All right, let me talk about a couple of things. One, this back and forth between Eric Cantor and the White House yesterday. The White House now essentially saying yesterday, hey, dismantle our jobs bill at your own risk. And, they like to put the label on you guys of not unwilling to compromise and everything else, but they're basically saying all or nothing on their bill. What is your reaction?
They're saying all or nothing on their bill, and their bill can't even pass the United States Senate, which they control. There's a reason that Dick Durbin and Harry Reid have not brought the bill up in the Senate. It's because they can't pass it with their own members. So they know it's not going anywhere in the Senate, so they're going to play this blame game. But look, fine, guilty. We know that this stimulus, spending and temporary tax rebates, doesn't work. It didn't work the last time. This is the same approach, only half as large. So why would we want to double down on ideas that have proven to fail instead when we can pass ideas that have proven to work?
What can pass? Where do you see something passing? Give us a quick overview of what could pass.
The president, in his speech, said, let's do business tax reform. Let's do these trade agreements. We agree with that. He didn't put those proposals in his bill, though, that he sent. His jobs package, I would argue, was partisan. It was aimed at getting conflict, not compromise. And so let's go past those ideas that were in his jobs speech but not in his jobs bill that we believe will create jobs. Trade agreements, business tax reform, those are the things that we're telling the White House. We agree with this. Let's go do it. But unfortunately, he's going around the country saying, just pass my jobs bill or take it or leave it. When he wouldn't even put the ideas that he knew we agreed with in his jobs bill that he had in his speech.
Only have a minute left, but I quickly want to get you on two things. One, the super committee. Should we expect higher taxes to be a result of their work?
No, I don't think you should. I think we're going to try and get $1.2 trillion in spending cuts. It will be some number at or below that amount, and the sequester will get the rest.
Beyond repeal and replace, which we're hearing a lot about, you have some alternatives on the Republican side, including taking on the employer-sponsored insurance market. Give us the headline on your plan for health care.
Yeah, I think we need to repeal Obamacare and replace it with a patient-centered system. And you no longer have the same job for the rest of your life. So why do we attach the tax benefit to your job? We should attach it to you. So the tax benefit that people get to get health insurance should go to the worker and not be attached to the job. Because you know what? You might change jobs, or you might lose a job. You might go work for yourself. So let's make it portable, and let's stop discriminating in the tax code against people who do not get health insurance from their jobs.
Do we need more solutions like that from the GOP candidates for president rather than just flat-out repeal and replace? And
that's my personal opinion. I just think we have good ideas. We are applying our country's founding principles, limited government, free enterprise are the problems of the day, and we can show the country a better path forward. And I just think that's what leadership's all about. And so a lot of us are doing that from here in the House, and I think it's in their interest to do so.
All right, quick thinking, quick answer from Jason. Who's a political figure, dead or alive, that you found most of your inspiration from?
The founders.
What's that?
The founders.
The founders! There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And it's evidenced in his work. Paul Ryan, thanks. Good to talk to you. Take care.